Hello, this is Thursday's rendition of 5 Minutes Free Association. This is our second show. I'm Richard Porter. This is Tony Iredon. We work for Plainview Daily Herald. We got some email comments from a couple of former employees who still follow us and see what we're up to concerning our first show. I thought I'd read a couple of those. That'll be the normal format. On Tuesdays, we'll do a show. On Thursdays, if we get responses from viewers, we'll read some of those. The first one is from Mark Turner. He was former sports editor here, and I referenced him in one of my comments to Tony the other day. First thing he said was referencing former sports editor Mark Turner is always a great way to get ratings up. I don't know about that, Tony.
Thinks a lot of himself, doesn't he?
Well, but he may be right too. The other main thing that he said was on the topic of being prepared. I'm assuming you both know beforehand what the other person is going to say. That's not the case. This is straight ad lib. That's the free association part of it. We don't know what the other person is going to ask us, and it's the first thing we think of whenever they do ask us. Switching over to Jonathan Petty, who works at Wayland now, but also used to work for the newspaper.
Another sports guy, right?
Yeah, he was. He said, best football conference, as much as I absolutely hate to say it, I think you have to enter the Pac-10 into that argument. I can't even read the rest of that because I disagree wholeheartedly. Pac-10 is weakest conference in the business, I think.
Well, Richard, I think one thing, what do they always say? You're as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
And after USC, you've really got to stretch it to make sure everyone's a quality team. Well, USC gets to play at Washington, and that's in a couple of weeks, or that might be this weekend. This weekend, this Saturday night, and Washington can certainly help that statement out by beating USC. Then we might have a Pac-10 is pretty strong argument, but I would never say that any conference, especially this year, is stronger than the Southeast Conference.
Well, and there are a couple. I think Cal's ranked. I think Oregon is ranked. This early in the season, I don't put a whole lot of stock in rankings anyway, but I look at top to bottom, and whenever you look at the Southeastern Conference, top to bottom on any given day, Southeastern Conference can beat whoever they're playing. You look at Kentucky this year. Top to bottom, I'm kind of like you. Whenever you get below those first two or three teams in Pac-10, I don't know where you go from there. He also says, as far as polls are concerned, I think they're a crapshoot. I've said for the last 10 years that year in and year out, Texas A&M is the most overrated football team in the nation. I know you'll agree with that.
Can I stop you? Okay, let me add to his point there. How in the world, A&M got humiliated last Thursday by Miami, just humiliated. And how in the world did they get 21 votes? Are there 21 writers in College Station that are playing Homer and giving them votes? That team shouldn't receive one stinking vote after that display at Miami last Thursday.
That's something that he points out. He says they're always ranked and always selected as one of the schools with the best recruiting class in the nation, but they always fall flat on their behinds once the season starts. We would like to think a change of coaches would fix that problem, but it hasn't yet. I just wish the pollsters wouldn't be so blind to whatever mystique the Aggies seem to have. Concerning our comments about the BCS, he said, I think people need to quit griping about the BCS. Well, he may have a point there. I just think that there's a way they could combine the two and use the bowl games that they have now as a playoff system and still generate revenue.
Can I interrupt you? Here's the problem with the BCS. Well, actually, the BCS partly is getting it right. There should be no poll that figures into that has a preseason poll. You're rewarding people for doing nothing. Look at Auburn. They had to climb from 17 the year they went 12-0. And USC was ranked number 1. Oklahoma was ranked number 2. Auburn, by a lot of thoughts, were better than both those teams. And even if they weren't, it's still not fair. OU and USC stayed undefeated, so they maintained their 1 and 2 ranking. Auburn climbed all the way from 17 up to 3. They could go no further as long as USC and Oklahoma kept winning, and I don't think that's fair at all. But on the flip side, we saw OU start out 2000 ranked number 23, but because people lost in front of them, they ended up playing the BCS championship game and winning and taking the national title.
Yeah. Well, that's all the comments we've got. At some point, Ryan, the camera guy, is going to tell us that we're out of time, and so
that's very soon.
I think that's coming up pretty quick, and so we'll just say that again, send us your comments. We'll be happy to hear from them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.